Today's video is sponsored by nuclear warfare. Ever wondered how humanity will look after by some god chance they survive if big countries started yeeting nukes in a World War III scenario? Are you a fan of the game called Banished? Well, you are in luck, because this game is just for you. It's called Oxygen First Breath. Now, Oxygen is a city colony post-apocalyptic sim which the devs were kind enough to give me a key to review before the release, which when this is posted, it's probably out by now. Now, as a disclaimer, during the recording period, I was limited to the first 50 in-game days or so, I think, and I did not get to the 100% chance of building every single buildings, but I did the basic stuff, and honestly, it's the most important part. Also, if you like this vid, make sure to like and sub to keep track when I post, and also it helps the channel grow. It's free for you, and it means so much to me. Anyhow, let's get to the video. To keep this short, in 2022, ironic, isn't it? People started nuking each other because they took the inspiration to the fictional planet of the Death Korps of Krieg and started blowing shit up and made the planet's air pretty much barely breathable. You are in charge of building a colony of survivors by building houses, food producing buildings, water collecting buildings, coal mines, etc. etc. Now, this game is very simple to understand and to learn. But also it's kind of complex. You need to collect materials in order to build the housing and resource buildings, which you can do in different ways via going around to buildings and sending people to scavenge different materials, even food sometimes, with canned fish for instance. Or you build buildings that will make use of the resource piles scattered around the map. You will be also given tasks, which after you complete them, will give you a bonus points of resources and settlers' happiness, which is important. You need to make sure to keep the morale high because, well, you're surviving on a planet that was nuked to shit. It's kind of obvious, isn't it? Now, you gotta have building diversity. You need to have a storage building to store all of your resources and shit, of course. You need your settlers to eat, and they cannot eat without a canteen because all the food you have gotten is actually raw and needs to be prepped and processed. You also need to build mines to extract resources. Eventually, you will have to also build greenhouses to feed your ever-growing populace. You will also build submarine stations so the people will come to you so you can artificially grow it, bar from having bebes. You will also need to build a research building so that you can use your 5-head settlers to make more buildings for you to survive and grow and etc. etc. Now, all that requires not just resources, but manpower. Now, I like how the devs took an inspiration from Banished, which I also made a video about, and the link should pop up now on the top right corner if I figured out how to fucking do it. Basically, it's similar to Banished. The settlers who do not have jobs in specific areas and buildings are automatically assigned to be laborers, but in this case, it's builders compared to Banished. You will also see it on the left side of the screen where all jobs are listed and you can manually pick them there, or just click on the building and click on the plus and it will assign a random settler to that specific area and job. Now, apart from the resource buildings you have to build them housing as well. Not only because it gives them a place to live, of course, and for them to make bebes so that your colony will naturally grow over time, but for them to have the chance to get the most important resource to them, oxygen. Now you see, because the world leaders for some damn reason nuked the planet to shit, the air is almost unbreathable and everyone has gas masks. Because of this, after some time working, they will have to leave work to go to their home, restore their oxygen tanks, and get back. It's time consuming, honestly. You can avoid that by enabling oxygen in the workplaces, but that costs you the most important resource you can farm in this game: power. Now, you see, to get power, you need energy resources. Those energy resources power the generator that's smack dab middle in your settlement, and to get it, you can only do it in two ways here. Either you mine coal like the 19th century child work manager you are, or you extract gas. Now, how you get gas is easy, and honestly, you are encouraged to do it. But not in the way you think. It's not because the developers are low-key telling you to go green. You see, the way you extract gas is from big cracks on the earth that will pop out randomly, sometimes close to your buildings. And if you do not build a gas extract, and if it spawns near a building and the timer runs out, it explodes in a nice range and destroys your building next to it, or several. So to avoid your hard-built buildings that they do not evaporate, you better research the damn extractor. Now, to do so, you just have to build a research base or several and put the 5 heads in, and you will over time get research points. Through research points, you will be able to unlock new buildings, and trust me, focus on it. It'll make your life easier in this game. Also, gas is not a forever material here. Eventually, you will extract it in like 14 in-game days, and you will need to destroy your extractor to get resources back. And you will need it, because you will have to hoard as many resources as possible, because the game will eventually test your planning through a big meta event that makes every single Balkan person feel a feeling of dread worse than death. The Promaya, aka Draft. Joking aside, you will eventually have a big windstorm of radioactive wind that will make your settlers sick if they stay outside too long, and might even kill them if you do not build a hospital, or several hospitals, depending on your size. Now, to not completely lose resources that you will have to miss gathering because you spend a lot during this period, you can go to your generator and enable oxygen to every single building. But that eats up a lot of your resources, so you better stock up on it. You will have time to plan it because on the top right, you will have a timeline when everything happens, so plan accordingly. The other meta event that you should keep an eye out is the Drought. So the Drought is where all water is just gone for a time, so you won't be able while it's happening to gather water and fish, aka your food. Now, you can avoid at least the food part of the pain in the ass by going to buildings and gather a canned fish. But you better stock up on it as well, all of it, so that you can survive, because it lasts at least 2 days. As you can see, you need to plan ahead in this game, and on time for the meta events, because one wrong move and you're fucked royally. You also need to keep the morale high by completing tasks and build morale buildings like the big Christmas star statue for the people to feel the spirit of Christmas and Santa to feel happy, or the church to praise the God Emperor and pray that they will get sent into a siege warfare war zone to spade the heretic. Okay, I'm gonna stop with the fucking Krieg jokes, lol. But yeah, all in all, this game is quite fun. It really reminds me of Banished and how you have to organize your resources properly and to plan ahead and accordingly. And there is high risk in this game if you're not doing a good job. It also has nice graphics. It completely somehow immerses me that, okay, so this is my planet nuked to shit. Yeah, definitely I can see that. And it's worth the time, in my opinion. I easily got so immersed in this game playing it. I barely even realized that I actually passed the 50-day mark constantly to get all the footage in this game. And in my opinion, it's also worth the money too, I think. So yeah, if you like the post-apocalyptic builder sims, this will tickle your pickle. And honestly, I cannot wait for the release and for the devs to expand this game with more stuff, because they gotta do it eventually. So yeah, until next time, thank you for watching.